Greetings, I am Charles Darwin, and I shall enlighten you with my explanation of the Darwinian Revolution as I perceive it. The Darwinian Revolution, my dear inquirer, encompasses the profound shift in our understanding of the natural world that occurred with the advent of my theory of evolution by natural selection. It was in my seminal work on the Original of Species published in 1859, where I unveiled the revolutionary concept that species evolve over time through a process of gradual modification and natural selection. In the grand theater of nature, my dear friend, there exists fierce competition for survival and reproductive success. It is through this struggle that certain individuals possessing advantageous traits are more likely to survive and transmit their beneficial characteristics to their offspring. This wondrous mechanism, known as natural selection, shapes the course of evolution, leading to the accumulation of traits that enhance an organism's fitness within its environment. The Darwinian Revolution extends beyond biology, permitting fields such as anthropology, psychology, medicine, and even the other social sciences. It has transformed our comprehension of the natural world, our place within it, and our relationship with the myriad of species that inhabit this planet. My theory has sparkled debates and discussions regarding its compatibility with religious belief, and has prompted contemplation on ethical considerations and surroundings human evolution and genetic engineering. I hope my humble explanation has shed light on the remarkable journey that is the Darwinian Revolution.
Most of us have heard the story or the theory which states that every human being was once a monkey. Okay? This might be because of our similarities. Well, even I will agree on it since my brother looks like one. Okay? This is the theory of evolution. This theory states that all living things have adapted its environment and changes over time. All living organisms have evolved from they were millions of years ago. This is due to changes and adaptation to its ever-changing environment. This happens in order to survive and to reproduce. Okay, the offspring inherit these adaptation techniques and create their own adaptation through mutation. These changes continues over time and adaptation becomes focused to the needs of the environment. So now this is where natural selections enter.
Charles Darwin's concept of natural selection emerged from studying plants, animals, and fossils in South America and the Pacific. It involves populations adapting and changing, with individuals with adaptive traits more likely to survive and reproduce. Darwin believed that natural selection occurred naturally without human intervention, explaining Earth's diversity. Mutations which change gene structure are crucial for genetic variation. Extinct species like dinosaurs are caused by invasive species, disease, environmental changes, or successful predators.
As per the Darwinian natural selection example, we used rabbits. Darwin's natural selection highlights the survival of the fittest. Even though the dominant trait or fur color of the rabbits is brown, when it comes to cooler weather, the furs of the new generation bunnies have changed to white, as this is the most suitable fur for the bunnies to survive the weather. And when the weather is back to being hot, the dominant traits are back to normal. We can also observe that food has a big impact on an organism's survival. When there's a scarcity, the population declines. If the food supplies are tough, paired with the scarcity, the organism's populations are declining at a rapid pace. And if there are existing predators added, that race or generation may cease to exist.
Fossil record. Darwin studied the fossil record and observed that the remains of ancient organisms found in rock layers became progressively more different from modern species as one went deeper into the geological strata. This provided evidence for the gradual change and diversification of life over time. Biogeography. Darwin observed that different regions of the world had distinct sets of species, and the distribution of organisms often correlated with geographical proximity and environmental similarity. This pattern suggested that species had evolved in specific regions and then spread to other areas. Homologous structure. Darwin also noted the presence of homologous structures in different species, which are structures that have a similar form but different functions. For instance, the forelimbs of a human, a bat's wing, and a dolphin's flipper have similar bone structures, indicating a common ancestor but adapted for different purposes.
Darwinian controversies and impacts. The Darwinian revolution, also known as the theory of evolution by natural selection proposed by Charles Darwin, has had significant controversies and profound impact on scientific, religious, and societal perspectives. Religious and philosophical conflicts. The theory of evolution challenged traditional religious beliefs, particularly those centered around creationism and the idea of a divine creator. This led to conflicts between proponents of evolution and religious fundamentalists. Social implications. Darwin's ideas on natural selection and survival of the fittest raised concerns about their potential application to human societies. Social Darwinism, an ideology that misapplied evolutionary principles to justify inequality and discrimination, stirred controversy. Ethical debates. The theory of evolution also sparked ethical debates regarding the origins of humans and their place in the natural world. Discussions surrounding human exceptionalism, animal rights, and the value of human life emerged from these debates. Next is impacts. Scientific advancements.
Darwin's theory revolutionized biology and provided a unifying framework for understanding the diversity of life on Earth. It laid the foundation for modern evolutionary biology and influenced numerous fields such as genetics, paleontology, and ecology. Understanding biodiversity. The theory of evolution highlighted the interconnectedness of all living organisms and explained how they adapt and evolve over time. It helped scientists comprehend the vast area of species and their relationships, contributing to conservation efforts and ecological understanding. Education and public awareness. Despite initial controversy, evolutionary theory has become a fundamental part of science education worldwide. It has increased public awareness and understanding of the natural world and our place within it.
1835 of the Galapagos Islands. Young English naturalist Charles Darwin collects animal and plant specimens for study. His observations on these islands will be fundamental in formulating his theories, which many years later will be published in his great work on the origin of species, a revolutionary book that changed the way biology was understood, giving rise to new scientific clearance. In this book, Darwin laid down the scientific principle that each species had not always been the way we know it today, rather each one had changed and altered over time. Three concepts are important for understanding Charles Darwin's theories: natural selection, evolution, and the origin of species. In animals and plants, random trait, mutations, and modifications can appear. For example, a moth that is born a different color than its parents, imagine that this mutation or new trait improves an animal's ability to survive in its environment. Animals with this favorable trait would be better adapted to where they live and have a better chance to feed themselves and to reproduce than other animals of the same species. Without that trait, the offspring of the parents with favorable characteristics will normally inherit those same characteristics, so generation after generation a trait that was rare occurs, more frequently becoming the norm within the species. This process is called natural selection.
This process is called natural selection. With the passing of time, these favorable mutations accumulate when species change, constantly adapting to environments that never stops changing. Here's how the evolution of a species takes place. Two groups of animals of the same species that adapt to two different environments over time can come to constitute different species. This way, a process as simple as called natural selection helps us to understand the origin of species. Charles Darwin was one of the most important men of his era, and many considered him among the most influential scientists in history. His theories on the origin and evolution of species were very new for his time and are still studied and discussed to this day. Darwin died in 1882. His legacy changed the thinking of an era and opened the door to a new way of understanding science and the world and the role of humans play on this planet.